Alrighty, When Dates Attack 3. You thought you'd heard all the bad stories. Well, guess again, there's more. And I mean, there's actually one or two more that I won't even mention in this video. But I'm going to talk about two different cases. One was at high school, and another one was a girl I work with. Now, the one at high school, I still see this girl from time to time in the local supermarket because she lives in the next town. And she actually whacked on a hell of a lot of weight at one point, and then she's dropped it off at other times and whacked on a lot again. But yeah, gee, I didn't recognise who it was when I saw her with all the weight on a couple of years ago. Anyways, I was at this school that, stuff it, I name it, it's Western Heights College. And what it is they've got two campuses, or they had two campuses, and the one I originally went to, that's been closed, and I think they've decked it and they're rebuilding a nursing home there or something. And these two campuses, like the lower high school campus, the junior, whatever you want to call it, they go from years 7 to 10. And, you know, I was on one campus and this girl was on another campus. But when you hit year 11 and 12, you go to a different campus. And that's where, for the first time, you see a whole stack of these people at the other campus, because we basically never got interaction from, with the people, rather, at the other campus. Anyways, they decided that in the last couple of months of year 10, they would throw us all in together and send us to this new campus that was really for years 11 and 12. You know, there was a girl there, and she ended up being, I think the first year she was in my English class, but both years she was in my psychology class and business management class. Anyway, I'm not going to name her, but yeah, she was actually quite alright looking. You know, initially when you looked at her, she had a lot of acne and it was sort of, you know, that didn't make her look the best, but she had this beautiful blonde hair that was about a foot below her shoulders and that, sometimes longer. And yeah, you know, she wasn't that bad. But I really didn't take a great deal of notice of her and all that. But one of her friends used to say to me, hey, she wants a piece of you. You know, why don't you make a move on her? And this escalated from one friend telling me to basically in the middle of year 11, I had literally 10 different kids telling me, all of her sort of acquaintances and friends and sort of in a similar social group, all of her friends telling me she wants a piece of you. And, you know, I would hear this all the damn time, like every second or third day, you know, and sometimes there was times there where there'd be literally 7 of these friends all at once telling me, you know, she'd walk out the room and within blasted 10 or 15 minutes, you know, or less, there was about 7 different people one day I remember saying, hey, she wants a piece, you make a move, and another one would be, yeah, friggin' make a move on her, she's all going on about you all the time. Anyway, you know, I never really took much notice of her initially, but as time grew on, I sort of, you know, and hearing all this, I sort of had a bit more of a look at her, and I sort of saw through the acne, and I thought, you know, if she didn't have that acne and all that, she's actually quite a hot chick, and there's going to become a time where, you know, when she gets out of her teenage years, she's not going to have that acne, and, you know, basically she's going to be goddamn adorable, and you could see that she was damn pretty through that acne. Anyway, she now has, I think she's got, I don't know if it's 1 or 2 kids, but I know she's got a son who's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 7, something like that. Anyway, they were hammering on about this, and I found a good excuse one day with a assignment we had for psychology, or a bit of homework we had for psychology, and I rang her up and I asked her about that, and I, you know, got talking for a while and blah blah blah, and that led to me ringing her quite a lot, you know, and we'd literally talk for 2, maybe nearly 3 hours a week of 2 or 3 hours at a time, but twice a week. So I'd ring her like, Tuesday and maybe Thursday, or something like that. And we'd talk for 2 or 3 hours. And that happened week after week after week after week for bloody months. I sort of got to know her, so I thought. Anyways, time went on, and I sort of, I fell really hard in love, and I ended up writing her a couple of love letters, and I handed her a few of these love letters, over, maybe one a week, or on occasion it was even, 2 a week. And that might have gone on for a month or two, but I wasn't sort of talking to her so much during that time on the phone. I wasn't really ringing her up because I'd sort of got a bit shy, with sending those love letters and then, having to talk to her. But all the same, she didn't ring me up either. She didn't send me any notes back or anything like this. Anyway, in the end, I sent her a note and said, well, geez, I've been putting in a lot of effort to woo you here. And let's not beat around the bush. I'm trying to woo you, and, like I put in a lot of effort. I've, made, a move. Are you going to make a move back? I've literally said, are you going to make a move back? Because, is this happening, or are we just dead in the water, or what? Because, I've put in so much effort. I was hoping to get at least some sort of a response from you. And I got a response, all right. She believed that she had told me that she already had a boyfriend. And I swear black and blue she hadn't. Now, just to show I'm not a biased son of a bitch who sort of bends these stories to suit my own things, I'll tell you straight out, I later got to know this boyfriend, and he was quite an all right bloke, and, he wasn't bad. I sort of didn't talk to him a heap, but I did talk to him, just here and there, just casually on occasion, and he was quite an all right bloke. And I got nothing against him, and to be quite honest, I don't really have anything against her, except the fact that she didn't know what was going on in the background. And she said, who's been, I said, they keep telling me that you love me. Who's been telling you that? And I said, all your friends keep telling me this all the damn time. What friends? I said, you know who your damn friends are, all the ones you hang around in your social group and all that. And, she had a few good yelling matches and everything there in front of other people at school. And it was great having a few good yelling matches in front of a whole stack of other people walking past. That, it was brilliant. Fucking glorious. Anyway, things went really bad, and obviously, and I felt pretty bad and skipped school for about 2/3 of a day there, and a few other things like that. And other kids would say, "No, how's it going with this and that? What's with that?" And I just thought, "Fuck this! I'm not listening to this shit." So I just walked out of school and went into town for the day. And I had a few pretty hard. I'm not going to go into details there, but I had to rethink a lot of what when you spend 2 years trying to woo a girl, and she has gone from a girl that you didn't show interest in, but because she is apparently so interested in you, you end up trying to look at her and think, well, is she hot? And the next thing you know, you're thinking, I'll give this girl a shot. She isn't too bad. Next thing you know, you're in love, and next thing you know, you're head over heels. I'm sure there's plenty of other girls who had warm feelings towards me who wish I would be the same. But anyway, it was a glorious little scenario, how it all went down. And of course, the principal and all that got involved, as you could well imagine. You can't really hide a few yelling matches in the middle of the school. So what ended up happening was the principal, I'm going to name this principal because I believe she should be removed from the profession. She should be deregistered. I wouldn't oppose seeing her cop 100 lashes by the Saudi Arabian government man who gives out public lashings. The name of this woman is Christine Rooney. She later stood there with crocodile tears in front of media when about 2 or 3 years later, 3 students in that same campus, same school, died in a suicide pact because she sort of, instead of realising how sensitive these young teenage souls were and taking that into account when she dished out any stuff or said anything, she basically didn't give a fuck. She just thought it was a big joke. She even made a sexual pass at me, something about my lovely blue eyes flittering. I'm not joking. The principal, making a sexual bloody pass at me, shortly after this case had gone through and I'd been expelled from school, which I did, and then I got brought back in. No, I wasn't expelled, I was suspended, but it was basically at the point where if you can't work things out, you will be expelled, but you're currently suspended until further notice. Now, what ended up happening was she, in all the midst of this, decided that she was going to label me with some sort of a mental disorder because I was angry at being lied about over such a sensitive thing as love for basically 2 years. And I shouldn't show any anger over that, apparently. So she decided to label me with Asperger's syndrome. And the psychology teacher sort of went along with it. He later took my mother aside and said to my mother, look, I had to agree with that. In order to keep my job, I only said that I agreed he was Asperger's syndrome because I would have been fired if I didn't agree with this Christine Rooney, who was the principal. And quite simply, I was suspended from school until I went and saw a doctor. Now, I went to the doctor and the doctor said, why the hell did they send you here? We'll just give you a referral to the shrink. So I got a referral to a shrink. I went in there and they started asking me questions that basically almost sounded like they were trying to work out if I was a psychopath. Can you comprehend other people's feelings and understand why other people get upset when they get upset? And, what has caused them to get upset? Are you sure that you can understand that? Da-da-da-da-da. Look, it was about 2 minutes of these questions, and this psychologist said to his apprentice sidekick, there is no way in hell this bloke's got Asperger's. No way. There's not a shred of it in him. He then decided to do a IQ test that was made for adults. I was 17 years old at the time. This IQ test is made for 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds, all that. I got the high end of average, and I wasn't even an adult. I was still a teenager. I was still a minor. So I went quite well at that psychology test. I get the feeling that some psychologists, they just love to also give you a psychology test no matter what else you go in there for anyway, just from some of the things I've heard. Anyway, they basically said there was, nothing wrong with me and I went back to school. Now, you're not going to cause any trouble, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do blah, 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 okay, I suppose we can begrudgingly let you back into school. And I felt like saying, what the fuck did I ever do wrong in the first place? Except just, get pissed off about something that anybody would have got pissed off with. I was there wearing my sunglasses because in this meeting because I didn't want to have to look this fucking bitch in the eye. The girl wasn't there, but the fucking bitch I'm talking about is the principal. And then they made me take my sunglasses off so I could look them in the eye after they degraded the shit out of me. After all this case was over, I was walking past the general office, just got a few things out of my locker and was getting ready to go, and walked out the door near the general office. And as I was walking past the general office, I heard her say, oh, look, there goes the magic fairy. Yeah, thanks for giving a shit about students and, patronising them behind their back, thinking their hearing is that bad that they can't hear. We got pretty good hearing when we're teenagers, believe me. Anyways, I sort of ended up getting quite a few friends and being quite good, a lot better with people after that, and it done me a bit of good to be, make a go at getting a few friends and whatnot after that point. And then that was it. School was over. And I tell you what, I still swear by this years later. I mean, it was the end of 1999. We're looking at, you know, literally 13 years ago. No, literally 14 years ago. And I still swear by this. The day I got out of high school, honest to God, it was like getting let out of fucking prison. I mean, that was what it felt like. The relief. You ever had one of those experiences where the relief just comes off you and it's just like a whole weight just gets lifted off you in the space of a few minutes? Well, I had one of those experiences the day that it was the last day of school there, and I walked out the gates of that joint and I thought, whoopee-doo, I am never fucking going back to this shithole. You know, and they wonder why kids drop out of school, you know. Fucking hell. Anyways, let's get on to the next girl. Now, the next girl, I shall also remain nameless. You know, she was man, she was a big girl. She had quite a number of daddy issues, I found out later, but we'll get into that deeper in the story. Anyway, I went and got this job as a courier. Anyway, the boss's daughter was the team leader or whatever you want to call it there for all the truck drivers. Something like 22 years old, never driven a truck, didn't have a clue what it was like to drive a truck, and she basically was running the show and didn't know what it was really like when she put all the load the wrong way and everything fell off. Anyway, regardless of me insulting her, she had this friend who was actually a year older than me. She'd be about 33 years old now. And this friend, you know, had a couple of kilos on board. And, oh man, I'll say it, she had a butt that was big. You wouldn't want her to roll over you in bed, let's put it like that. Anyways, she was a extrovert and she was very loud. And as you may know, I'm an introvert, and that's why I don't hang around with big gangs of people all the time and hang around nightclubs and tend to make a damn lot of YouTube videos. And, you know, have a lot of interactions via computers. Anyways, she was really loudmouth, and it used to sort of annoy me. I don't like people yelling and bragging and carrying on, and she was one of those sort of people, and there's plenty of times there where I just used to feel like saying to her, could you just shut the fuck up? I've had enough of noise vibrating through the place, you know, but I was nice enough to her and didn't say that. Anyways, yeah, it was pretty obvious that, you know, we had these things, they look like CBs, but you could literally ring from one to the other, and you got to punch in a number, and then you just press the thing and off it goes. I think it's like an earphone or something like that. I don't really know. They had to pay to use them, but they had to pay diddly squat. You know, they're a lot cheaper than mobile phones, and they had, you know, brilliant range because they are a system set up with repeater towers. I don't know, I know a little bit about them, but not a great ton. Anyways, we would, I'd be going along and my one would start ringing and it'd be her, and you get 3 minutes and 30 seconds, I think it is, to talk, and then it cuts out and they've got to ring back, and she'd freaking ring back, she'd be talking all the time. I'd be trying to drive through these dodgy bloody things out in the middle of the forest, and she'd be fucking ringing. I'd just turn the thing off, you know. And she'd always be trying to ring me in that all the time. And, you know, I used to talk to her a bit on that system while I should have been bloody driving. And, yeah, it became pretty obvious that, you know, I was there talking, and we got talking after work one day, and I had to go and buy an air conditioner, which I've put in my parents' house. And, you know, she said, oh, no, let's go to McDonald's and have a coffee. No, I really got to buy this air conditioner. Oh, maybe another time. And she really wanted to get me, you know, there and have a chat and continue chatting, because the boss was saying, God, blimey, you lot have been talking for 10 minutes. Just freaking get out of the door and talk out in the car park. And so, yeah, it was pretty obvious that she wanted a piece of me. And how did it all roll out? Yeah, I think it happened with the. I'm pretty sure we had the Christmas first. Anyway, we had a Christmas party and it was on a boat, and they bought a big heap of grog, and this boat just sort of drives around the bay and all that. And there we were drinking all this grog. Anyway, she decided to get me in a corner and that, and as she's talking, and there's other people around on the boat, other workmates, and she starts saying, "Oh, geez, you're pretty hairy." Next thing, she's unbuttoning my damn shirt, and she's got about 4 or 5 buttons down my shirt, and she's got a hand in there, and she's going, "Geez, you've got a hairy chest. I mean, look at all that." She goes, "I've got a business on the side doing waxing," which I knew she did have a business doing waxing on the side. And, there she's going, "I could wax all that for you," and that, and she's rubbing her hand up and down. And this other girl who worked with her, she takes one look at her, and she's going, "God blimey, what don't you undo his fly next?" Holy shit, I couldn't believe it. Real extrovert, hands all over you and all this sort of stuff. And next thing she's, when we got off the boat, she's, "Come on, let's cross the road together," and they've got to go into a pub. She's holding me on the hand, and she got her hand on me back, and next thing she's patting me on the bum and squeezed me butt and all this. I'm like, God blimey. I think she's really squeezing it, but she's trying to get a good cupful in her hand there anyway at one point. But there's something else she'd done. I can't remember what it was, but let's basically say it was sort of bordering on sexual harassment. But anyways, I remember, I've got to say this one. The boat had a front deck, and then it had a back deck, and the front deck was real high, and then there was the middle of the boat. The bloke was in there driving it and all that, with a lot of seats, and then it was sort of slightly higher up at the back. Like the front deck was a lot higher, and then sort of the back deck was probably a little bit, down a bit lower, and the middle deck, the main part in the inside in the middle was all roofed in, was the lowest part. Anyway, I was sitting there with this young bloke that was some blooming nephew or something of the big boss, and he was like 15 or 16, and he dropped out of school. Anyway, I could see her up there on the front deck, and she's talking to someone else, and she had this short skirt on, and all you could just see, I mean, she had underwear on, I'm not going to tell you anything real bad here, all you could see was these great big solid legs, and through the little bit where you go up the steps and look, you just see her there, these big solid legs, and I said to the young bloke, "Hey, look at this, you ever seen that movie Norbit? Where's Rasputia? Look at the legs." I couldn't help it, I'd tell you that bit. Young bloke was laughing. Anyways, it went through to next year, and the blokes at the other depot I talked to about it, and the bloke who was the supervisor at the other depot, who was the uncle of the supervisor where the depot I sort of got the job at, the main depot, he was saying to some of the other blokes, "Oh, how'd it all go?" And I go, "Oh, don't ask." To one of the blokes, and the boss goes, "Yeah, Paul Linky was getting bloody ravaged." But anyway, all these blokes are going, "Oh, you should have rooted her and all that," and da-da-da. I'm going, "I don't want to root anything like that." Anyway, I really wouldn't have wanted to, because there was another bloke there who used to hang around with her and the boss's daughter on the weekends, and it come out that he ended up telling me this one, so there you go. If she's watching, she knows where the secret got out now. He said, "Yeah, she's had another bloke out who's a chook farmer out in the same town near where you are." And I said, "Oh, yeah, she was, rooting him on Bloomin' Wednesday or whatever." And it turns out he told me that this girl was going on to me like she was wanted to have a long-term girlfriend, and even got the boss's daughter to say to me, "Would you take her as a long-term girlfriend," sort of thing, and you don't have to fuck her or anything, she goes. And I thought, damn right I don't. I can do what I damn want to do, and I'm not going to get pushed into anything. And basically, this male friend of theirs told me that she used to go out on the weekend. I don't know if it was Friday night and Saturday night or just Saturday night, but she would basically arrange to have some bloke to fuck on like Wednesday or maybe Thursday or something like that, midweek. And then fuck another one on a Saturday night. So she'd arrange one bloke in a nightclub and, "Oh, here's my number, if you want to get it on with me, da-da-da," and, arrange schedule a fuck with this bloke midweek, and then go to another nightclub or even the same nightclub and take home another bloke. And she was screwing 2 different blokes a week, had gone through hundreds of different blokes. You know, as one subscriber who knows of this story already told me, she was more or less the town's trash can, and that was sort of right. And here she was talking to me like she wanted a long-term boyfriend and all this, but she did tell me about a few of the daddy issues that she had, and basically her parents were severely different people. I mean, they were light years apart, but somehow they ended up having her. I don't know if that was unintentional or they just got married out of that, but the father was, I'm not going to go into what her parents were like because that's a breach of their privacy, but basically they were worlds apart, they were poles apart, and her father, had long since left, and she had quite a lot of daddy issues. Anyways, yeah, that's the other big girl. How heavy was she? Oh, I don't know. Heavy enough, big enough. But I know, I'll tell you one thing, after all that, I realised one thing. I don't want a girl who's a real extrovert and always loud mouthing and yelling. It just, noise just goes through my head. But so there you go, another 2 glorious bloomin' stories. And I may be able to manage a 4th video, but there probably won't be too much in it. But yeah, we'll just see. It's probably not. But anyway, yeah.